Hello, hello everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, 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 hello. Hello Priyanka, hello Jayesh, hello Shubham, hello Sazia, hi. Hello Mehak. Good evening Deepak. Good evening, good evening Radhika, Chanchal. Hello everyone. Good evening everyone. How are you guys? Hello, hello. Hello Madhvi. Hello Anamika. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening everyone. I'm good, I'm good. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hi Kajal, how are you? Hi Renuka. Good evening. Am I audible? First, let me know if I am visible properly, audible, and then we'll start with the content. I am good, Madhvi. How are you? Hello Gokul. Hi, hi. Hello, hello. Hello Sajal, Sandhya. Good evening, everyone. So today we will be starting our science and technology first class, right? So we will have a short class today. First, we will discuss the syllabus and how to approach science and technology, and then we'll move to the PYQs from 2026 and we'll see how we can solve these questions with 50% of the knowledge. There were 13-14 questions from science and technology this year. The paper was on the tougher side. History questions were tough. Rest of the sections were also tough, but science and tech was doable. If not all the 14 questions, at least 7 to 8 questions were doable, and we'll try to do the same. Even if you don't know the basic topics, then also you can try and get at least 6 to 7 correct questions just by having ability to understand the situation given in the question and using basic logic, right? So first we will see the syllabus, then we'll move to the PYQs, this year's question from 2026, and how we can solve those questions without even knowing the concepts properly, but by applying some logics, right? I don't expect you to solve all the questions, but at least 6-7 questions from those 13-14 you can do, right? Before going to the main part where we discuss the syllabus and the PYQs, let me first tell you about the Guru Purnima offers. So there are offers available for all of you from PW sides on the occasion of Guru Purnima. Komal Patil is saying Kannada batch sir. So I learned little bit of Swalpa Kannada when I was in Bangalore, right? I'll try to use some in the class. Okay, so first let me tell you about the offers. So there are offers starting from 11,000 for the foundation batches. So there are multiple foundation batch in which you can enroll. Let me tell you about few of the batches. So foundation batch Prahar and Titan 1 year batches starting from 11,000. You can take the Titan batch in English, or you can take the Prahar batch in Hindi or English, right? Those batches are starting from 11,000. Then we move to 2 year batches. So today the class is happening in Pinnacle 3.0 2028 batch, which is a 2 year batch where the courses are completed within 2 years. You have ample time to slowly go over the topics, do the questions and practice and prepare for your 2028 attempt. One important thing, especially for the students who are preparing for 2028, because science and tech is mostly based on current affairs. So how to go about it? We are going to complete science and tech in this batch in the next 2 months, right? So how to proceed after that, how to take care of the current affairs, how I will help you in those current affairs coverage and all those things we will discuss in the class. So Pinnacle is a 2 year batch, English batch, Sankalp is Hindi batch. What all do you get in these batches? So mainly you will get the CSAT and GS classes. Along with this, you will get daily practice and mains questions. For the classes, you will get the class notes daily. We will discuss things in detail in the class. After that, you will get the class notes as well and the practice questions. Okay, daily you will get practice questions. You will get answer writing classes, doubt solving and weekly current affairs. If you buy this batch along with the 360 feature, you will get additional benefits. In the previous batch, you were getting answers mains answer writing, right? But evaluation will be included in 360 along with one-to-one mentorship. You will get test series, answer writing, evaluations. You will get access to Nischay batch, which is taken by UPSC toppers, and you will get hard copies of the UPSC wala book. Along with this, you will get the access to Khazana, where you can learn from the best learners on the PW platform, right? If you get 360 plus, you will get plan B as well. So many of the lectures in plan B exams like EPFO, RBI grade B, NABARD and CAPF, I myself have recorded videos for quantitative aptitude and reasoning. So in some cases, if you want to prepare for not just for UPSC and you want to prepare for more exams, one exam which is very prestigious is RBI grade B. If you are very good in quant and reasoning and you think you can do well in quant and reasoning, you can basically prepare for RBI grade B as well. So if you get the 360 Pro version, you will get all these things along with it, right? Where to submit daily mains question? Mohammed. So I usually in the online classes share my number second, third day onwards, so that you are in direct touch with me with all your doubts, right? So tomorrow onwards, I'll try to share my number so that if you have any doubt regarding the classes, or if you are writing some answers and you want those checked, you can directly connect with me, right? So those things we will start from tomorrow. Today, first let's get through these offers and then we'll go to the content, right? So UPSC optional is also available at 11,000. Next, if you are thinking of preparing in a slow manner, you are in college and you have 3 years, 4 years still for your first attempt, you can opt for Prelims batch, which happens in 3-year time. It is available for 29,000. So in the first year, you basically cover your NCRTs, right, along with some GS topics. In the second year, your foundation batch start, where you get CSAT preparation, GS concepts, and in the third year, you will prepare for your optionals and rigorous practice through test series and answer writing. So if you have your attempt in suppose 29 and 30, you can opt for the Prelims batch, right? This is a 3-year course. Done. Along with it, if you have cleared your prelims and if you are next year you clear your prelims and you want to prepare for the mains, you can get this test series and mentorship program for 9,000 only. So these were your Guru Purnima offers. Now let's get to the subject matter. Okay, where to access current affair classes, right? Everything will be in your batches only. You will get daily classes in the batches, you will get daily class notes in the batches, you will get the current affair classes in the batch also. Evaluation will be added as a section to your batch only. So everything is on the app. You need not worry about that. For the time being, science and tech, let's get to our subject. Now, what do you know about this subject in UPSC? What do you think UPSC is going to ask you in science and tech? Can someone tell me what they are going to ask you in UPSC prelims, science and tech? Do you know the syllabus? Sir, I take it for 2029. No worries, Shivam. Do you know the syllabus, what we need to cover in science and tech for 2028 attempt? Anyone? Class 12. क्या ये सही रहेगा? If you are in class 12, Prelims will be the most suitable batch for you. Hello, 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 hello. Current technologies. So there are a few misconceptions about science and tech within students. If you see this year's paper also, 2026 paper, there were around 14 questions, right? 14 questions amount to 28 marks. And there are some reasons because of which students don't focus on science and tech and don't prepare for science and tech properly, right? First reason students give, sir, science and tech is too vast. Science and tech is too vast. If you try to learn this subject from this perspective, science 2 questions, you will think of this subject as vast always. The correct way to approach this subject is you should go through this method: current affairs plus your PYQs. You should go and read the science or technology associated with your current affairs and PYQs, and then from this you should go to the questions, because there are many fields which come under science, right? You cannot be a scientist and you can't go to a level where you know everything. And UPSC don't want you to know everything. What they want is, are you aware of the things happening around you? And the things happening around you are mostly covered in your current affairs. Along with current affairs, there are some basics that you should know from each of the subtopics that we are going to cover. There are some basics that you should know. In the classes also, we'll try to do both the things. We'll try to cover the basics along with the current affairs, and we'll try to integrate everything with the PYQ so that you get a overall picture, right? So science and tech, NCRTs are there, but you don't have to cover NCRTs line by line as you do in your polity and history. Science and tech, in the class, I will tell you which sections to cover from NCRTs. I also myself will introduce some sections from NCRT in the classes so that the basics are also covered along with the basics that you need to understand the technology part. Okay, any doubt up to this point? So first thing you need to remove from your mind is, this is too vast. It is not too vast. You have to change the method how you cover your science and tech, right? You should go from basics plus your current affairs, and that's how you should approach science and tech, because nowadays most of the questions are coming based on your current affairs from the last 18 months, right? If your paper is in 27, you have to cover science and tech current affairs for 18 months prior to your 2027 attempt. If you are attempting for 28, you have to cover 18 months prior to your 2028 attempt. Okay, basic science plus current plus emerging technology development. Sir, I am in 4th year of BTech and I don't even basics of this exam. Is it okay to start now with this? Yes, why not? We'll try to cover all the basics in the class, so you need not worry. If there is something that I want you to learn, I'll give you task in every class, so that there are few things you go home, read by yourself, and then we can discuss those in the next class, right? So we'll go by that method. Sir, how will we make notes from your classes? Basically, you will get class notes also. I'll try to write everything which is possible on the board. Along with that, I will give you PPTs which cover everything that I discuss in the class, so that you don't miss out on anything. There are two ways to teach something, right? If I am dictating notes to you, we have less time, so we can discuss less number of topics in the class. But if I give you notes through PPT and we can discuss more things in the class, I think that will help you more, right? You have time apart from your classes where you can make notes. I can check those notes, I can give you feedback on those notes, but I'll try to give you everything through the PPT so that you don't miss out on anything. Okay? Sir, give me some tasks that will be very helpful. I'll give you. Today itself, I'll give you some tasks to complete by tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll start our first basic class. We'll start with biotechnology. I'll give you some topics. Okay. Sir, PPT is enough. Science and tech and environment are two subjects where basics are not enough. You have to cover current affairs. Through the class, we'll try to integrate the current affairs parts wherever possible up to September, August, September, right? After that, at the end, when your attempt will be, right, then also you will have single short classes for current affairs integration, so that for the next 12 months, what are the things which are in the news, which are important, you get those through the one shot videos. So don't worry about it. Your basics mostly will be covered through the classes. You will get extra classes where you will get notes and material for the current affairs also. So everything will be covered. Don't worry about it. Okay. Any more doubt? Sir, I had left after 10th standard. I tried reading biotechnology. Either I am going to. So this is the second part. Second reason people think they are not going to cover this or they are not good at this. Sir, don't have science background. Is it needed? Is everyone who is getting selected or everyone who is good at science is from the maths background or science background? Not necessarily. Okay? Not necessarily. Mostly UPSC is asking you questions based on technological applications and effects. And what are the technological advancement that India is doing? They are not going to ask you formulas, suppose physics formulas, chemistry formulas, or biology specific terms which you have to memorize. Mostly they ask you questions based on technological applications and effects, and what are the indigenizations of technology happening in India related to nanotechnology, suppose defense technology, nuclear technology, energy technology, all those things which we are doing in India. Suppose for example, recently you must have heard of hydrogen train. First trial based hydrogen train starting from Jind to Sonipat in Haryana, right? So now you can expect a question regarding this hydrogen fuel cell based train in coming exams. We'll see the PYQs of 2026. You will see everything that you hear around you in news, right? Everything that you hear about in the daily usage of apps and everything, those questions are asked frequently in UPSC nowadays, right? So everything is application based. You don't have to memorize formulas, you don't have to do lots of mathematics. It is basically what is happening around you, what are the new technologies that are coming up around you. So don't bother if you are not from the science background, right? You just have to cover current affairs plus some basics around different topics and you are good to go. Based on these two, you have to cover the applications of those technologies and their effects. Okay, so even if you are not from the science background, don't worry. Okay. Third, sir, S&T changes frequently. This is true, but mostly 80% of the questions are coming from 18 months current affair prior to your, okay, because it is based mostly on current affairs. So every 18 months you will see new topics are important, and that's why you have to cover basics along with the current affairs. You can't be reliant just on the class notes. You have to add current affairs. Wherever something new is happening during the classes, I'll let you know what you have to add to the notes. I will also supply notes for the current affairs things along with the classes to you all guys. Okay? Is there any doubt you have? Yes. For environment and science and tech, current affairs is important, really important. We'll see why. We'll go through the PYQs, 2026 PYQs, and you will understand why I'm telling you that these are the things which you need to take care of. So if you think this is too vast, no, we'll go through this. We'll add current affairs to PYQs along with the basics, and then we'll try to solve the questions. Second, if you are not from the science background, then also you need not fear. Third, handwritten notes or digital notes. Sir, shall we make handwritten notes or digital notes? It depends on you. If you can read and revise through the digital notes, it will save you some time. If you prefer handwritten notes, that adds extra revision layer, right? You will read something in the class and then you will write everything again. So that can be counted as one of your revisions, right? So that also help. It depends primarily on you. What do you prefer? Is it necessary to read NCERT? No. You must have got that NCERT wala book, right? There are some sections which are important. I'll let you know in the classes which you have to read, what all you have to cover through that NCERT wala book. Any more doubts? Is current affairs relevant for 2031 attempt? So you need to start your current affair integration from 2029 onwards to 2031. Suppose Porushi Patel is asking, hi sir, with has joined. ठीक है sir, I will give my exam in 2030. Can I continue or leave? Continue, right? At least you will get to understand today how science and tech questions are asked, because after the syllabus we are going to discuss the PYQs from 2026, right? Can we go ahead? Sir, what will be the class duration? Today I'll try to cover it in hour and a half. Tomorrow onwards we will have the class for 2 hours daily. which NCRT to buy. Arka, Prava, Basu, I'll let you know which, you already have one NCRT compilation, you can use that. You don't have to buy NCRT books for science and tech. Okay? Science and tech book, you won't have Mehak. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Any book you pick for science and tech, first of all, it will be this big. You can't cover each and every scientific principle, scientific knowledge, right? You don't have to be a doctor, a engineer and a scientist at the same time. What we require is, out of those 13-14 questions, we are in a situation where we can attempt at least 10 questions correctly. For that, you need not follow any book. Mostly try to read current affairs, then try to read the connected science portion and then try to solve the questions. What we will try to do in the classes is, there are few recurring themes which are very important for UPSC. We'll try to cover every basics and current affairs related to those topics in the class. है ना? So you don't have to make this preparation in a research project. We don't have to do research. We have to just familiarize us with the terms which are quite frequent in news articles and their basics. Okay, PW Science should read. There will be sections that I will tell you to read from that book. Don't worry about it. At the moment, all of you have those books, right? Weekly you can do, Archita. First, let's go through the syllabus. Then only we will understand what all we have to read, right? How to study subjects which I don't like. I have seen students fearing only 2 subjects. I take both of those. Students fear science and students fear maths. I'll take science and tech and I'll take CSAT, right? CSAT is your quantitative aptitude, reasoning and reading comprehension. There is nothing to fear, right? For whatever reason you have left science after 10th, for this exam there are few basics which you will have to cover if you want to qualify, right? So just see these portion as that. So these are the steps which you have to cover to get to the prelims properly. Okay? Sir, books भी provide होंगे batch के साथ तो yes, with the batch you will get the books. I don't like history. Same. I also like logical subjects like science and maths. Sir, which batch I should take? 2030, you should go with Praram. Let's go to the next part, which is the syllabus, right? So for prelims, UPSC has mentioned only this. UPSC has mentioned in prelims that they will ask question from general science. Now, general science can be physics, maths, and your bio from NCRTs also. But nowadays, the main part they are asking is not just physics, bio and your chemistry from NCRTs. The questions are mostly based on current affairs and the recent tech. Okay, so nowadays prelims mein they will ask you about bio, tech, space, tech, information communication technology, emerging tech, right? Nuclear tech, nanotech. Okay, all these segments they are going to ask you questions from, which are regularly getting updated, right? At the moment you should not buy any book. Okay, Nirmala, Muhammad Faizan, Shubham, am I clear? For the time being, try to cover these topics from the class, and if required, I'll let you know. Okay? Sir, should I buy this? No. Sir, I am a student of class 10th ICSE. I have to do my ICE preparation in future. So can I join your class or should I? You can. At least you get a understanding of the subject that is asked in UPSC. Okay? For the mains, your paper 3, there are some points which are given to you in the syllabus, that you should be bothered with development of tech, and their applications in effect in everyday life, how technology is developing and how it is affecting the human life. That is our main concern. Second major part is achievement of Indians in technological field, Indians in science and technology, how technologies are now developed inside India, what are the technologies which we are developing. Suppose recently I have given you an example of hydrogen train that was developed completely in India based on hydrogen fuel cell. So that is indigenization of some technological advancement. We have completely built that train here, every loco system, the fuel cells, everything we have developed in India. So that is a big news. You can expect a question on hydrogen train in the future exams. Okay. Next, developing new technologies, awareness. There are few topics you need to be aware of. Awareness in the field of, as I told you, IT, information technology, space technology, what ISRO is doing, what ISRO is developing, computers, emerging tech like AI, machine learning, LLMs, all these things, quantum, blockchain, all these technology you should be aware of. We got a question in 26 from blockchain also, we got a question based on LLMs also, we got a question on based on quantum also in this year's paper. Every question was based on the basic principle on which these technology work. We'll see those questions in short while. Then robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and issues related to intellectual property rights, how technology will be exchanged between the countries and within the country, and how there are rules to stop illegal use of these technology around the world and within the country. So these are the things we need to discuss in science and technology. Is there any doubt regarding the syllabus? Based on this syllabus, if you see, there are few components you need to focus on while preparing for science and tech. Srinivas, yes. Sir, one more other classes, their schedule. So you will get the schedule in the batch itself, right, Himanshu? So that by looking at PDF, I could include it in my notes. Yes, you can. Sir, in my UPSC wala book, enough for science and tech. Along with your UPSC wala books, you will have to add current affairs to your notes. I'll tell you how to cover those current affairs effectively. Don't worry about it. Also, I will share continuously, I will share notes regarding your science and tech on my Telegram channel also. Okay? Done. Can we go to the next thing I need to discuss? Based on this syllabus, there are few things you need to understand. Mainly, the questions they are asking are based on two things. First, applications in everyday life of technology. How technology is changing our life. This is the first concern. With technological advancement, okay, productivity increase, everything is going towards higher productivity. If you talk about AI, everything is talked about in one sense, that productivity will increase, it will help the human species, right? So that is the first aspect, how it is affecting our lives. Second important aspect is how we as India are doing in these sectors. Are we taking these technology from outside, or are we developing everything in-house, or are we doing this with partnership with other countries, right? So these are the important aspects we need to cover. Okay? How do I answer? Vinayak, this is the first class. This is just the overview. Whenever we will discuss some topics, we will have a discussion about those things. Don't worry. Okay, Vinayak? Sir, I am BTech third year. Can I follow these for exam of 28? Obviously, that's why you have taken this batch, right? 2028. So, Telegram group link, sir. I'll give you everything. Don't worry. First, let me at least discuss the syllabus. Okay? Along with this, there are few topics you need to take care of. Information technology, computers is done, space, okay, biotech, emerging tech, nuclear tech, and nanotech. So these are the sections we need to cover. Okay? Done? Chalo. Now, based on this, that we have to cover how technology is changing our life, along with it how India is performing or how India is developing these technology, or is India taking this technology from outside. We can divide our science and tech classes into major sections which are recurring quite frequently in UPSC prelims. ठीक है? Am I audible, Keshav? Abhi? State CSE exams basics are covered, right? But state exams ask you general style questions, NCERT based direct questions, formula based questions, so that you need to cover extra. Too loud? Am I too loud? I have a habit of shouting. Okay, you will get used to it in couple of days. So basically, you should write this down. Okay, whatever we are going to discuss for the next 10 minutes, you should write it down. So we will divide the complete syllabus into few major sections, and mostly we will go in the classes in this order only. Tomorrow we will have our first class on biotechnology. Okay, so biotechnology and genetics. Second, health and diseases. So in biotechnology, you must have heard about few things. Suppose gene therapy, okay, genome projects. Have you heard of these things? Gene therapy, vaccines. You must have heard of CRISPR. Have you heard of these things? Yes or no? You must have heard of BT cotton, how BT cotton is manufactured, GM crops. Okay. Health and diseases we will talk about different vectors used to treat the diseases. Precision medicine. This is these are your first notes. At least these many, okay? These many topics, basics you should know before going to the exam. Immunology, okay? Overall, public health. So for the first 12 classes, almost 12-13 classes, we'll try to cover these. Tomorrow, first class, we will start with biotechnology. Now, why are we starting with biotechnology? I'll let you know after these sections. I'll tell you which are the sections which are most important for your science and tech, which are the 4 sections out of which you are getting 80% of the questions. Okay? All these are sounding new. Don't worry, Harish. In couple of months, you will understand everything. Third, we'll start with space technology. What do you think comes under space technology? I'm asking you a question. What do you think will come under space technology? What are the things you keep on hearing associated with space technology? Couple of points at least. Should I read news starting? Space technology mein what all you have heard? What comes under space technology? Rockets. Have you heard of ISRO? Every tech developed by ISRO is important, right? In space technology, you must have heard upon launch vehicles. Have you heard of launch vehicles? Different launch vehicles to place satellites in different orbits. Okay? Private space sector. Nowadays, ISRO wants startups to get into space technology. So these are important. Private space sector. Recently, you must have heard of Skyroot, right? A private company which launched Vikram 1, and they placed a satellite, right? So recently, this was in news that first Indian startup to launch a launch vehicle. right? They used ISRO's facility, but the fabrication and everything was done by the startup itself. Okay, Vikram 1 was in news. See, I can see people are saying Skyroot, Skyroot, Skyroot. Now, India, a private company in India launched something, right? That is the important news. Within next 2 years, you will see a question based on Skyroot. This year also, Skyroot was involved in one of the statements in one of the questions. Going ahead, Skyroot is important. Why? First of all, that company built the product in India. First startup to launch a vehicle from India, right? So that is important. I can see some people already know Skyroot is a company, right? What was the average age of the people in that company? This was in news couple of days back. Good evening, good evening. Hi. Missiles and everything are in defense technology. We'll talk about that also. Along with this, astrophysics, these things we will cover in space technology. Next, information technology, artificial intelligence. Have you heard of artificial intelligence? Any one of you know what is AI? You keep on using ChatGPT, right? You keep on using Claude. Many of you will be using Midjourney, all these tools. है ना? Have you heard of artificial technology and how it is affecting our life on a daily basis? That is what we have to read. How AI is made, what are the principles on which AI is made, and how it is changing our life on a daily basis. What are the products India is building? What are the products which foreign companies are building, right? Okay. So AI is very important going ahead. Artificial intelligence. Along with this, emerging technology. Keep writing these sub points and subtopics. So basically AI, you will learn machine learning, deep learning, LLMs. Have you heard of these terms? AI, machine learning you must have heard. Okay? Deep learning you must have heard. LLM, there was a question this year 2026. They were asking you what is LLM basically. Okay? So these are the tech we need to discuss. You must have heard of quantum computing. What is this type of computing? What are the principles on which this works? Then you must have heard of blockchain technology. For the next 2 months, we have to do this only. We have to cover these technologies and how these technologies are affecting our life. Okay. Have you heard of semiconductor? Can someone tell me what is a semiconductor? Semiconductors. Internet of Things. All these topics we'll cover in the fourth and important part: information technology, artificial intelligence, emerging tech, Internet of Things, semiconductors, blockchain technology, everything. Right? Blockchain, 6G. Yes, sir, learned in data science. Some of you are from tech background, so you must know. Those who are not from tech background, I don't expect you to know these technologies. What I am asking you is, have you heard of these terms around you? I am sure at least you must have heard these terms around you. Okay? Pack of transistors make microprocessor chips based on which we do computing, right? Semiconductor chips. So semiconductors are made of which material? What are the types of diodes? What is light emitting diode? Someone can ask you what is LED. You keep on using this term LED, LED, LED. What is LED? LED is nothing but a light emitting diode. Now what is a diode? Diode is combination of couple of semiconductors, right? These things work on some principle. Whenever we get to these things, we will discuss those in detail. Okay? Some terms some have heard, some are saying we have not heard of these terms, right? Nikita is saying germanium and silicon are semiconducting materials. Copper, I think. Copper is not a semiconductor. Copper is a conductor, metal. Okay? Chalo. Have you written all these things? Can I move to the next page? Has everyone written these? Can I go to the next page? We will go from basics. I'll try to cover everything from the basics as much as possible. If there are some things that you need to know, I'll tell you before the class. Okay, come prepared, at least read these many points. Chalo, next. So these were the 4 points. Fifth is energy and environment technology. Have you heard of green hydrogen? Have you heard of the hydrogen economy? I just told you about hydrogen fuel cell based train. So hydrogen is one of the important fuel going ahead. Why it is important? Because we call hydrogen the cleanest fuel. Now why do we call this fuel as the cleanest? We'll discuss in the classes, but how to produce this hydrogen as a fuel, that decides if the hydrogen is useful to us. This year also there was a question on green hydrogen. India has started a mission called Green Hydrogen Mission, in which they are going to produce green hydrogen. Now before going to anything, first you need to know what is green hydrogen. Similarly, there is gray hydrogen, blue hydrogen, pink hydrogen, right? So we'll discuss everything related to hydrogen in the class that is related to energy tech. Okay? Understood? Okay. Good evening, greeting. Prachi, how are you, Prachi? Hello. Chalo, let's continue. So, hydrogen, green hydrogen, fuel cell. What are fuel cells? Storage. Okay, storage of energy, batteries, right? You must have heard of lithium ion batteries. Now, what are lithium ion batteries? Batteries is nothing but storage of energy, conversion of energy from one form to another so that we can use this later, right? Energy is converted from one form to the another or stored for later usage. This is the thing related to energy. There are multiple conversions which we should know. There are multiple storage units which are used quite frequently around us that we need to know. So hydrogen economy, fuel cells, storage, okay, nuclear energy. In nuclear energy, there are few things we need to discuss. See, our nuclear program is divided into 3-stage program. Okay, this is divided into 3-stage program. So we need to know what is this 3-stage program. Going ahead, thorium is one of the fuel we are going to use in stage 3. So what is the story related to thorium and how it is going to benefit India in future, right? Okay, international and agencies working in this IAEA. You must have heard of this agency working when America claimed that Iran has enriched uranium. Now this organization has to check if a country has that reached that stage or not, right? So we will talk about this also. Okay, done. Next one is 6th one, defense technology. Next one is defense technology. Because India is getting into conflicts, America is getting into conflicts with Iran, Israel is getting in conflicts with Iran, Ukraine is getting in conflicts with Russia, and lots of new weapons are used and manufactured and exported, right? So if India is making some new weapons, we need to know about it. If India is manufacturing new equipment here in India or getting it from outside, we need to know it. Recently India has started exporting some weapons, right? So we need to know about those as well. Okay, which are the weapons which India has started manufacturing and then started exporting, right? So we need to keep a tab on those current affairs related. What are the new weapons India is developing? What are the weapons we are manufacturing? What are the weapons we are exporting? So these are the 3 tabs you need to be careful of when you are covering your current affairs. Okay, done. So in this, people were saying, sir, missiles. You must have heard of BrahMos, है ना? Cruise missile. You must have heard of Agni 5 ballistic missile, right? What are these different types of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles India have? What are the missiles which we have made along with some other country, or what are the missiles we are developing in-house, right? So all these things are very important because now the conflicts are increasing, new weapons are coming in the market, they are used regularly, so we need to know about those. Not every weapon, all the weapons which are in news. Okay, how would you know which are in news? India will be developing something, that is important. India is manufacturing something in-house, that is important. India is bringing something out of India from outside. Suppose India has just signed a deal for Rafale aircrafts, right, from France, right? So that is important, what we are buying. If India is exporting something now, that is also important. Got it? Okay. So stealth technology, there was a question based on stealth. Then drones. What else? What else we can cover under defense technology? Can someone tell me some points? Voice is not. Voice अभी clear है? Nowadays, this is important. Manufacturing, if we are manufacturing this and if we are exporting. Manufacturing also, do we have the license to manufacture it? Have we procured it from outside, or we have leased some weapon from other country? This year also there was one question based on defense technology where we had to know which of the technology we have now licensed from Russia and are procuring, manufacturing in India, and which we are leasing from Russia to use. Okay, submarines, tanks, missiles, everything, drones, defense system, radars, everything we will cover under defense technology. Understood? Have you written this? Can we go to the next part? Can we go to the next part? Okay, we'll discuss stealth today. One of the question in 2026 was based on stealth technology. So we'll discuss those. Can we go to the next? Has everyone written this? Energy and environment technology, defense technology. There are few more that we need to cover. One is nano technology. Not many questions are covered from here. Then nanotechnology, we will have to cover robotics, automations. What are the things India is developing under the tag robotics? Then intellectual property rights, right? Patents, all these things. Okay. What are different tech policies worldwide or internally? This we will discuss. And 10th, I'll try to integrate as much as possible from NCERT basics. Basics plus these basics, the 9 topics basics, 1 to 9, and current affairs. Current affairs won't stop just in the classes. You will have to cover it later also, and I'll try to help as much as possible from my end. I'll also share my number, as you can know from my earlier students, so that you are in direct touch with me. So if you read something and you don't understand that, you can directly get in contact with me so that I can explain those topics to you. Okay? Done. Chalo, so this is our syllabus that we need to cover in the next 2 months. Okay, in the next 2 months, these are the topics that we will cover. Now, out of these, there are few very important topics. There are few sections which are very important if you analyze your PYQs. If you do your PYQs, 80% of the questions are from 4 heads. The 4 heads are, first is biotechnology, that we will start tomorrow onwards. First is biotechnology, second is your space technology, third one is your information communication and technology, and fourth one is your energy and emerging tech. Energy, your emerging tech, you can place your emerging tech here also, all the new technologies. These are the 4 sections which give you maximum number of questions. So should you give time to every possible section of science and tech equally? My question to you is, should you assign your time equally to each and every topic that you see in science and tech? Where to purchase this batch? You will get the link in the description below. You can buy the batch from there. The batch is starting from today only, 27th. Today we are just discussing the syllabus and we are going to discuss few PYQs. Tomorrow onwards we will start the syllabus properly, where we will start the syllabus from biotechnology. In the class also we will try to cover these 4 aspects first, right? If the questions are coming from few sections regularly, again and again, there is no point you distributing time equally to each and every topic. These are the topics we will spend most of our time discussing. So if we have 45 classes, mostly 35 classes will be based on these 4 things. Within these, there are multiple topics we need to discuss, but this will be our focus. Why? Because if you do the analysis and if you do the PYQ analysis, you will understand that most of the questions come under these categories based on current affairs. Most of the technology advancement are happening within these. ISRO is developing things. Now private entities have started doing this, because one of the biggest pharmaceutical hub in the world is India. We keep on developing new tech, right? So this is one of the things. Information communication technology, emerging tech, right? Everything happening around the world in this sector is very important, because it changes most of our lives, because how we interact mostly today with tech is through our computers, mobiles and everything. Those things are related to communication technologies, information technologies, emerging techs like AI, right? Blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, right? For LLMs, large language models, everything comes under this. Energy, nuclear, hydrogen going ahead is very important, right? All these are important aspects from which you can expect questions in coming exams also. Sir, I don't buy PW. Do I need other sources of class are enough? I'll try to make everything possible in the class only. Ki classes are enough, but still you need to be in touch, because suppose polity and history are contained. There is not very much related to, how do I say, current affairs, right? But there are 2 sections. I am not just telling you about science and tech, environment also. Most of the things are related to your current affairs. Most of the things which are in news are directly asked to you, right? You can't cover everything under sun regarding science and environment, but at least you can cover the topics which are quite frequent in the last 2-3 years, and that is what we will try to do in this class. Understood how to approach this? Okay. So there are some recurring theme from which questions are coming quite frequently. The exam basically changed in 2015. Before this, questions were based on general science, your NCERTs. And after 2015, if you see, most of the questions are current affairs, related basics plus applications. So these basics also we will try to cover in the class wherever possible. Along with it, we'll cover these. In Pinnacle, I'll take couple of subjects. Basically, I'll take science and tech. For the last 2 years, I am taking CSAT also. So I'll take that also, right? So maths and science. Whoever fear these two subjects, get in touch. First of all, keep this away from your mind that you can't do any subject. All of you are capable. You just have to pay attention. Suppose someone is good in polity, he or she has to devote less time to understand that topic. But if you are not able to directly grasp something, you just have to give it some more time. You can't expect that every subject you will get at the same level, or every subject you can devote the same time and reap the benefits. Right? Suppose I am from an IIT, right? So my whole background was technology, math, science. So these subjects are very intuitive to me. So I will be good in those. But if I have to cover history, I'll be slow. Similar thing happens to you guys also. Okay? You can't think I'll devote 1 hour to polity and 1 hour to science and tech, and I can reap both same level of benefits from both of those. You will have to devote time according to your own requirements and your own past. How many basics do you already know? How many basics you need to search and find along with the things discussed in the class, right? So that decide how much time you should devote to different parts. Okay, done. So there are some recurring themes. Okay, if you do the PYQ analysis, you will see GM crops, BT cotton, golden rice. These questions are quite frequent. The questions came in 96, then the question came in 99, 21, 10, 11, 12, 21. So basically these questions are quite frequent. Another is stem cells, 2002, 12, 17, 20. So at least you should know what is stem cell therapy, so that if there is one more question in future from this technology, you should be able to answer that, right? Sir, when will CSAT class start? It will have patience. Pinnacle may you have 2-year course, right? So most probably if your batch is starting now, you will have CSAT next year. Okay, don't worry about it. For the time being, try to understand as much as possible based on science and tech. Science and tech mein what are the things we need to discuss? Another important theme is DNA fingerprinting, genomics. Genome India, there was a question this year, 26. Vaccines, genetic medicine, there were a question in 26. PSLV, GSLV, launch vehicles, orbits, private sector. There was one question based on private sector involvement in space tech this year. Gravitational waves, cosmology. There are questions in 17, 18, 19, 20, because at that time these topics were in news. So for 4 years continuously questions were coming from these topics. If you see nowadays, quantum, blockchain, IoT is very important. This is important, right? Hydrogen fuel cell, hydrogen as a fuel and fuel cells, very important. Okay? Yes, Shlok, I also teach CSAT. Most of you on YouTube would have seen my videos based on CSAT, right? Last year we started a series also for CSAT. Pinnacle 3.0. Then have you written these? Antibiotic resistance, immunization, right? Asteroids, comets, cosmic bodies. Out of these, according to me, few things are really important going ahead. These quantum, blockchain, IoT, AI, hydrogen, very important. GM crop, stem cells, very important going ahead. So at least you should know these many things before going to your paper. Okay? How to cover the current affairs? Have you written these themes? Cell and biotechnology, space techs are my favorite topics. So Maddie, Vankar, tomorrow onwards we'll start with biotechnology. Done with it? Any doubt up to this point? Let's pause for a minute. Let me take some of your doubts. If there are any doubts, let me know and then we'll proceed with it. We'll solve some PYQs from 2026 so that you understand how questions are asked from science and tech section. Any doubt? Any doubt up to this point? We have discussed what is the syllabus, what are the things we are going to discuss in the class, how we are going to integrate PYQs with basics and your current affairs. Written. Sir, done. Any doubt? No, sir. No doubt. ठीक है, चलो. Sir, it includes general science also. So general science में there are some things that we need to discuss from NCERT. Wherever possible, I will integrate it with the basics we need to discuss, because you suppose tomorrow we start biotechnology. I can't directly go to stem cell therapy, gene therapy. At least you should know what is chromosome. You should know what is DNA. You should know what is gene. What is a cell? Within cell, where is the DNA? So we will try to first cover these basics, so that at least you cover some of the concepts which you read in 9th and 10th of your biology, and then from there onwards, once you understand what is DNA, then we'll see how to manipulate DNA to get benefits. Everything in biotechnology is related to this, how we can use these living cells, DNAs, RNAs to our own benefit. Everything is related to that. So rely on completion of class notes, but currents are good. Sir, we have to completions, compilations, class notes, current affairs, and your test series. More than enough. Thank you. Yes, sir. ठीक है, चलो. So current affairs. Suppose I'll try to do everything possible for you in the next 2 months. What after that? After that, there are few sources you need to cover. ठीक है? One is Indian Express explained section. ठीक है? If there is some new tech and it is in the news, you will get those articles here. Weekly, you can visit PIB before your prelims. ठीक है? I'll try to share some current compilations with you, where I'll try to include as many current affairs articles in simple language which you can understand properly from both these places. But it will be useful if you have some basic understanding. ठीक है? If you read something on your own, you have a clear understanding, and then if you add something from the notes to it, it will help you more, rather than just relying on this final compilation. ठीक है? Because it is difficult to understand 10 technology in 1 hour, 2 hour. If go through your preparation for the next 2 years, you have kept on reading these terms again and again, you have some understanding, it will be easier for you to use these compilation at the end before your prelims. Most of the students do this mistake. They leave everything for the end, and in the end they try to understand 10, 15, 20 technology and the related content in 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, 1 day, 2 day. Student who has covered these topics at their own pace, slowly will have more benefit. If they don't understand the technology completely, then only they will have benefit, because they will recognize the terms again and again associated with some topic. Right? If you rely only on the compilations, the problem will be with respect to time and revisions. So from our end, everyone who is teaching you, they try their best to give you the best material possible. But along with it, it is also your responsibility to cover some things on your own, so that when you get the compilations or current affairs modules at the end, those help you in a better way. ठीक है? Vijay, technology related, earth sciences, METI, all those. Okay, we will discuss those ministries in the class as well, wherever some mission is associated with the technology, where India is taking some steps to develop those technologies. Okay, done. चलें आगे. How much current affair? 18 months at least prior to your prelims. ठीक है, this much we have to do at least. If you think of doing this in 3-day 4-day, it is impossible to remember the things, but if you along with your preparation slowly cover some topics, it will be very easy for you. ठीक है, Press Information Bureau if someone doesn't know what is PIB. ठीक है, okay. Current affair classes mostly are conducted at the end, right, on YouTube channels. You also get the current affair compilations every month, right? There also you will get those notes, because it is a subject which keeps on updating, so you also have to update yourself. Suppose BT cotton is a technology, ठीक है, which is based on recombinant DNA. Recombinant DNA is basically you have introduced some foreign DNA into plant so that you can get benefit out of it. Now BT cotton was in news far away from now, right? So that doesn't mean they can't ask you question on BT cotton. You should know what is BT cotton, but the chances of that question is few, very less. What you need to focus on recently, if new plant varieties are made by genetic engineering or some manipulation, then you need to be aware of those, right? Can you understand the difference between these two? Both of them are using some DNA manipulation to get the desired result, but the technology which was used 10 years 12 years before now is not that important, but a technology which is developing nowadays in the last 1 year 2 year 3 year is more important. Okay, not daily, you can do this weekly also. I'll try to cover things weekly for you wherever possible. In the class also, whenever something new and important is happening around you, I'll at the end of the class I will take 15 minutes to cover those topics, so that you at least have some understanding related to those topics you see regularly in the newspaper. Okay, done. Can we go to some PYQs which came in 2026 to get an understanding how UPSC questions are made? Okay, golden rice is one. Done. Chalo, let's solve some questions. Let me be very clear. I don't expect you to solve these questions. You are in no position to understand what these things are on the board. What I want you to understand is you don't have to know everything related to these topics to solve these questions in the exam. Mental ability and your mind presence is very important, right, to solve these questions. I am giving you a question. I am giving you 1 minute to read. Everything will be new. To best of your ability, take a guess and then we'll discuss this question. Okay, we'll solve 5-6 questions and then we'll end today's class. To best of your ability, let me know what is the answer to this question. What do you think should be the answer to this question? We'll solve 5 such questions, okay? What do you think? You have not heard of this thing and still I am asking you, can you answer this question? This came in 2026. Someone is saying A, someone is saying B, someone is saying C. Have you heard the word gene editing? Right? Most of you would have heard the word gene editing. There are things we can add, okay? Gene therapy. There is gene therapy. We can add genes. CRISPR. We can edit. We can edit genes. We can silence. We can silence genes. by silencing RNA. ठीक है. So there are these things based on which we can do changes to genetics. There are three statements. When you are changing some genetics, main purpose is to remove some unwanted characteristics or add some wanted characteristics, or just silencing some characteristics you don't want it to get into effect, right? You just try to correct the typo. If in simple language gene changes, what you are trying to do is correct the typo. What is the typo? When you write text, right, there are some errors you can make. Similarly, while replication of DNA and lots of processes, there can be some problems with the DNA, right? You just want to get rid of this typo. You don't write entire DNA. Entire DNA changes. Have you heard of DNA replacement? ठीक है. Have you heard of entire DNA change? This we don't want to do. We just have to, or we just want to change the wrong characteristics, or we just have to add something, some new characteristics that we want, but we don't change the entire DNA. At this point I don't even expect you to understand what is DNA. ठीक है. Small interfering RNA जीन साइलेंसिंग के लिए इट इज यूज. जैसे वी राजा, आई थिंक यू आर फ्रॉम बायोलॉजी, तो ही नोज स्मॉल इंटरफेयरिंग आरएनए आर यूज्ड फॉर साइलेंसिंग. ओके, सो दीज आर द थिंग्स वी कैन डू, बट in none of these processes we change the entire DNA. Whenever something like this, something like these statements you see in the exam, genetic medicines alter the entire DNA sequence, this statement is wrong. So this option is gone, this option is gone. Now you have two things. Genetic medicine corrects or compensates for the faulty gene responsible. So it can correct or compensate for the gene we require. This is correct. Again, engineered viruses. There are mediums that we need to use to get into the DNA. Retroviruses, adenoviruses, adeno-associated viruses, lentiviruses. Many options are available. Or we can use fat, lipid nanoparticles coating around DNA, RNA to introduce into a system. COVID vaccine, Covaxin, use the same mechanism to introduce the vaccine into your body. So we'll understand these techs, how vectors are used in which form to enter these required DNA into your DNA sequences. So this statement is also correct. These are viruses and lipids are vectors which take the desired DNA to your DNA. Genetic engineering are a subject of genetic engineering is basically study of genes, right? How we alter them, everything. Gene therapy is a different part of it. Basically, biotechnology has two parts: genetic engineering and bioprocessing. Genetic engineering is how we can manipulate these organisms or these DNAs to get benefit out of those, and bioprocessing is how we scale this up to get the desired proteins, right? So all these things. So basically here second statement is correct. So the answer is 1 and 2. I am not asking you to know these topics. What I am trying to tell you is, even if you have partial information, or if you know what are the things you can do by these technology, you will be aware that this is incorrect, that genetic medicines can alter the entire DNA of an organism, right? So if you must have covered these basic genetic terms, these basic genetic engineering, genetic medicines in your syllabus, at least you will be able to do such questions. Is this question difficult if you know genetic engineering, which every science and tech class includes? ठीक है? siRNA. Don't worry about these things. We will discuss these in details. These are topics which we cover in one full class. What I am trying to do today is tell you how questions are asked in science and tech. My purpose is not for every one of you to know how to solve these questions, each and every question. My purpose is you should at least know how questions are asked nowadays. These questions are from your 2026 paper. Okay? The paper in which most of the other sections were difficult, and the students who will score more in science and tech will get a fair advantage. Let's go to the next question. Can I go to the next question? Chalo. Next. I am again giving you 2 minutes. So every initiative that Indian government launch in India regarding tech is important, which is in news, which is in recent news. Can you take a wild guess what should be the answer to this? We'll do 5-6 questions, okay? Then we'll end today's session, and tomorrow onwards we'll start with biotechnology. Okay? This is just an overview class, orientation, so that you know at least what is expected of you regarding science and tech. See, most of you at the moment don't know what is Human Genome Project. Let me tell you what is genome projects, right? Genome projects are where for a population you try to understand or you try to read and formulate every DNA possible. Suppose for India, you take sample of DNA from 10,000 people and you try to find out what is the DNA sequence in the Indian population, so that you can do precision medicines. You can try to come up with solutions which are specifically for Indian population. There are 2 projects. The first project was international project, which started in 1990 and concluded in 2003. This was an international initiative to read the DNA sequence of a large population. Based on this, nowadays India has launched in Genome India project, in which India is also trying to genome sequence the DNA of Indian population, so that we can find specific solution to the diseases and problems Indian population face, right? So if you would have read genome sequencing, what is genome sequencing and what are the projects going on based on genome, you would have known what is Human Genome Project is and how it contributed at international level. The problem here is this was concluded in 2003 and Indian Genome Project is not part of it. Indian Genome Project is not part of it. So this statement is incorrect. Anyone who had covered these genome projects, right, he would know, and this was one of the easiest question. If you eliminate first, most of the questions work on elimination. If you eliminate first, the answer is 2. Now, Indian Genome Project, you should know after today. This is enough. At least you must know what is Genome Project and what are Indian Genome Project. Indian Genome Project is under Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. First of all, its primary aim is to build catalog of genetic diversity. We want to see the diverse DNA of Indian population so that we can come up with specific solutions, right? DNA of an American population is quite different from us, right? So we want solutions for our own population. For that, first we need to study the DNA distribution among the Indian population. That is Genome India project. I don't expect you to answer this question. What I'm trying to tell you is how you could have solved these questions if you have covered the basics, and what are the basics that you need to cover before going to the exam. These are the questions which are coming frequently. Genome India project. Last question was genetic engineering. Okay? One should all the statement would head add to the conversation. Option suggests that one should know all these statements. Right? Here, when we finish our class, you will understand both of these. For the time being, I am just trying to tell you these are the types of questions frequently asked in science and tech. Okay. Have you heard of large language models? What are the important types of segments from which questions are coming? This year question came on LLM. This year question came on blockchain. This year question came on quantum technology. All emerging technologies, right? So large language models. Large language models. There are layers to AI. AI, under this machine learning, under this deep learning, under deep learning there are LLMs. What is AI doing? Tasks are tasks. What is machine learning doing? Pattern recognition and replicating of those patterns. What is deep learning doing? Artificial neural networks. And what is LLM doing? Language models. What is the purpose of these models? So we want to develop tech which is very fast. LLMs do one thing. They train on lots of data and they try to learn our language as humans. So when you type, I love this city, okay, I love this dash city, and something is missing. What LLM is trying to do, most probable outcomes it is thinking of, okay, it has turned words into numbers. LLM is trying to think what you are going to write next, and based on those it is giving probabilities to different words, and that's why it can respond to you in very quick fashion. Okay, so LLMs are based on language models based on this. These work on probabilities. Anyone who has seen what LLM is before going to the exam, he will read these two sentences. First sentence, assign probabilities to the next possible words. This is the basic principle on which LLMs work. Second, if LLMs get or guess a wrong word, what they do is nudge itself to change the software so that next time they give probabilities to the correct word. Going ahead, they keep on learning how you text, right? So if a LLM is trained on your data, he will know what is your next question, what are you going to ask. Based on those probabilities, he can set up the back setup and fetch the information because he already know what you are going to ask, right? So based on those, he keeps on processing data through mathematical optimization and minimizes the wrong attempts continuously, and going ahead it will try to replicate you. Okay. Also, LLMs, AI is based on what? Suppose if I ask you, AI is trained on what data? My question to you is, sir, I am a maths background, but I still can't answer the concept. Good. So my point is, suppose I ask you one thing. AI is trained on what data? Suppose you are using ChatGPT. Okay, it is trained on what data? Can it generate its own content? Data sets, right? You will feed it data to it. It will get trained on that data, right? Can you tell me that every data you are going to feed the AI is unbiased? Everything in literature, everything we talk, every conversation, everything around us is biased because of our own biases. We are going to train the AI on those biased thoughts, right? We are going to train the AI bot on these biased thoughts. So can we expect that LLMs produce unbiased outcomes, outputs? Actually, because of the data on which these are trained and it is biased, okay, data is already biased on which these are trained. So we don't get unbiased outputs. Basically, we get amplified biased outputs out of this. If you learn LLMs can't generate data on their own. Okay, these are trained on data that you feed. Every day you are talking to an AI chatbot, right? Your conversation is the data on which it is getting trained every day. In the back layer, the company is feeding continuously the books, everything, conversations, internet things, everything on which it is getting updated, right? All the biases are part of those datas, and hence we can't expect this system to produce unbiased outputs, and hence this is incorrect. So answer is option B, 1 and 2. We can't expect AI to create things. AI just replicate based on the information it digests when getting trained. Is it clear how AI works? AI is not some foreign object, alien object which can think on its own. AI can think on only the things which you feed it with. The data you feed it with, that's the only information it has, and between those data points it connects and give you the output quickly. Suppose you in your brain know everything about genetics, someone is asking you, then you can quickly give answers based on genetics, but someone is not aware of those thoughts or those concepts, so he can't answer. Similarly, to AI you have given so much data from every field so that it can now answer to your questions from different fields. Okay, are you getting a sense how the questions are asked and framed in science and tech? Answers are not important at the moment. What I am trying to tell you is how you should approach these questions in the exam. रटना नहीं है, रट्टाफिकेशन don't work. ठीक है, just memorizing won't help you. You have to have some mental ability to understand what are the things given here in the statements, because this statement, you can't expect every statement to be in your notes, but if you apply some of your minds and if you know what are LLMs, you can get to the answers. Getting my point? Done. Chalo, let's do one more and then we'll, okay, let's do one more. Let me give you one based on green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is very important nowadays, and I will leave some questions for you to attempt. Okay, if there are any doubts, tomorrow you can ask me. I'll keep these questions in the slide so that if there are any doubts or for future references you want to discuss some questions from 2026 paper, you can always do that, right? Tomorrow I'll try to give you my number so that we can get into touch. Whenever you have doubt, please use that number wisely. You should not call me anytime. Okay? Nowadays students call me 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., right? I also have a life. Ask me for time, I'll give you a time, then you can give me your doubts and we can have a conversation about your doubts. Okay? Done. Chalo. I'm giving you this question. This is based on hydrogen. There are lots of types of hydrogen. Gray, then blue, then there is green. Recently India started producing pink hydrogen. These are important, right? This was the question. Take a wild guess and then we'll discuss this question and we'll move ahead with it. Kotresh, you don't have to read each and every line of NCERT. This exam is not going to test the static knowledge of physics, chemistry, biology directly. In a question, they can give you 3 statements, and one of these statements can be based on general science, but not every question will be based on general science. If you think you can crack science and tech questions just by reading or going through the NCERTs completely, that is not enough. That is just your basics. So I will try to cover every basics that is needed to cover the higher order concepts. Okay, you need not cover every topic, physics, chemistry, biology from NCERTs from class 6 to 10. There are few important topics that I will let you know whenever we get to a topic, related topic. Okay. Now this question was based on just this, and if you see Hydrogen पे there are questions on 2009. Then there was a question in 2015. There was a question on 22, 2023, 2024. Again, the question came in 26. Every question was related to hydrogen economy, how hydrogens are produced, hydrogen gas is produced, how it is used, how it is produced from different methods. Okay? Right? Understood? So this question also, the first statement was, the question was asking you about green hydrogen. There is also a mission, green hydrogen mission, that India has launched in 2023, and based on that the question is given to you. The first, it is carbonized hydrogen obtained from natural gas reforming combined with carbon capture and storage. This is definition of blue hydrogen. If you know the basic types of hydrogen production, you would know that this is the definition of blue hydrogen. So this statement was straightforward. Any student who has prepared well for the prelims knows that this definition is for blue hydrogen. Green hydrogen is produced by electrolysis of water, and the energy used for electrolysis comes from renewable energy. Green hydrogen is very important. I am going to discuss in detail also. I am again trying to tell you what is green hydrogen. Green hydrogen is produced by the electrolysis of water, and the energy used for electrolysis comes from renewable sources. Couple of sources, solar and wind. If you do electrolysis of water and produce hydrogen gas, and the energy comes from solar and wind sources, then the hydrogen produced is called green hydrogen. Okay, gray hydrogen is production of hydrogen gas from natural gas. If you add additional carbon capture and storage system to the gray hydrogen, it becomes blue hydrogen. If the electrolysis of water to produce hydrogen gas, the energy is used or energy is coming from nuclear power, then this is called pink hydrogen. Recently, India has started producing pink hydrogen. Going ahead, this is important, where pink hydrogen is produced. Now, India has started producing pink hydrogen, and this was in news. So, in the next couple of years, you can also expect question around pink hydrogen. I have told you 4. Directly, natural gas to hydrogen, gray hydrogen. Natural gas to hydrogen with carbon capture and storage, blue hydrogen. Electrolysis of water using renewable energy, solar and wind, green hydrogen. Electrolysis of water using nuclear energy, pink hydrogen. So questions are designed around these concepts, that students should know what is green hydrogen, because now the hydrogen in green form is produced here in India. If students should know what is pink hydrogen, and so on and so forth. So what I am trying to tell you, how to connect the things we are going to study in the class with these types of questions. If you understand what is gray hydrogen, blue hydrogen, pink hydrogen, you will understand first statement is incorrect. Couple of statements are incorrect. It is produced using electrolysis of water, electricity generated by renewable energy. As I told you, this is the definition of green hydrogen. This is green hydrogen. For say state PCSC, you can use it. Okay. Okay. Then, so National Green Hydrogen Mission is India's mission in which they aim to abatement of nearly 50 million metric ton of annual greenhouse gas emission by 2030. This is one of the objective of India's green hydrogen mission. Another aim is to produce 5 MMT of green hydrogen every year. This is also one of the aims of green hydrogen production. For this, Indian government has assigned 19,744 crore rupees. So whenever green hydrogen is discussed, all these things are discussed in the class along with it, right? And why is hydrogen, green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, these are discussed? Because these are the topics in news quite frequently. So going ahead, we will also do this. Everything that is important, we'll try to cover the basics in the class. What are the definitions? What are the applications? How these things are regularly used in different things, and how it is benefiting the human species after all, right? Basically, conservation of environment is also for our benefit. Uses of these technologies also for our benefit. Biotechnology, manipulation of DNA, RNA, recombinant DNA, everything we do is for our human benefit. So how these technologies are developing, what are the effects, what are the outcomes, that we will discuss on regular basis. Tomorrow, first class, what are we going to start with? We are going to start with biotechnology. I expect someone was asking me, sir, give us some work. I want you to understand what is cell. At least come prepared by knowing what is cell. Okay? Right? Yes, Mohammed, these are just the basics. We will cover these are just the questions to give you a taste of how the questions are asked nowadays. Tomorrow onwards, we will first cover the basics and then we will move to the different technologies. At least come prepared and with this, what is cell? Basically, you can know something about animal cell and plant cell, and then we'll start from there on. First, we will understand what is cell, what are chromosomes, what are DNA, what are RNA, what are genes, and how we can manipulate these things for our own benefit. Everything is related to that only. Everything living is made up of cells, microbes, parasites, protozoas, fungus, algae, right? Everything is made up of these. NCRT, you have got the NCRT wala book. You must have got this NCRT wala book, na? From this, at least you can cover this cell. I'll tell you everything regarding cell tomorrow, but at least you from your end also can start with this. What is the functional and structural unit of life? Not just unit of life, structural and functional unit of life. Okay, we'll start from this. I am leaving some PYQs for you to attempt. Okay, you can keep these PYQs. We'll, as soon as we complete the topics related to these, we will revisit these questions. I'll try to integrate as many PYQs in the classes so that you get a sense of how questions can be asked on anything we are discussing in the class. Any topic that we are discussing, what are the types of questions those can be asked. PYQs also, and I'll try to integrate new questions as well. Okay, done. Before we conclude today's session, let me tell you about the Pinnacle 3.0 batch that we are starting today, right? This is the first class, 27th of July. So tomorrow onwards, we'll start with biotechnology. These are the toppers from the foundation batches. So Pinnacle 3.0 2028 is starting from 13,999. This batch 3.0 is starting today, 27th of July. We have not started the subject part, but at least we have seen how many questions or how questions are asked nowadays. Okay. So what all do you get in this? So you will get GS and CSAT classes, daily questions for prelims and mains, class notes, as I told you, weekly current affairs in the batch, answer writing classes and doubt. Along with it, as I told you before, if you get the 360, additionally you will get one-to-one mentorship, you will get evaluation, you will get UPSC Khazana and these book in hard copies. Okay. 360 Pro, there are few additional features. Here you will get additional exam related content for RBI, Grade B, EPFO, NABARD and CAPF. Okay. You will also get Pi OTT platform access. Done. So in this batch, Abhishek sir will take history, Harpreet sir will take geography society, right? Environment, disaster management. Nikhil sir will take your polity and governance. Okay, I will take CSAT and your science and technology. Shruti ma'am will take ethics, and Ranjan sir will take Indian economy, so that you know who is going to take which subject. Okay, then this is my Telegram channel. I have not started dropping the science and tech content yet. Within a week, I'll start dropping science and tech related content here in the group, so you can get enrolled in this, and here also you can get into touch, right? If you have some doubts, you can post those doubts related to batches or the class we had today in this Telegram group. Okay, if there are any doubts, if you want to know something from my end, if there are some doubts, you can ask me, and then within next 3-4 minutes we'll conclude this. Any doubt? कोई doubt है? कोई problem? कोई दिक्कत? बताओ. Any problem that you faced or you are facing in your preparation? See, if you have taken in Pinnacle, right? So you are going to attempt in 28. You have time, and there is one problem with time. When you have lots of it, you try and waste as much as possible, and when the situation is such that you don't have time, you rush to get things. What you need to do is utilize these 2 years properly. If you have only one class and I am telling you to cover some current affairs, you need to cover some current affairs. See, CSAT, I have heard this regarding only one subject from students. Sir, I fear mathematics. And the students who have learned from me know that mathematics is not the problem. Your understanding of the English language, your interpretation of the question in mathematical terms is the problem. Whenever we get to that, I'll help you with that also. For the time being, everything we have discussed in science and tech. Okay? If there is any issue, please let me know. Janvi, tomorrow onwards, I'll share my number with you. Then we'll have a discussion on the problem you are facing. Okay? Anything for you? Extra? और कुछ चाहिए? Done? Sir, I am in class 10, तो अभी बैच लूँ या नहीं? You can take प्रारंभ. ठीक है? प्रारंभ बैच you can take. Fashiha, I need to check if it is combined or not. Sir, can I attempt in 2027 if you complete all your courses? Why not? And if you are eligible. Maths very difficult in CSAT. No, maths is not difficult. That is a qualifying paper. You don't have to complete the all the 80 questions. You have to get to a situation where at least you attempt 35-40 questions and your accuracy is good. So out of 35-40 questions from maths, you only have to do 15-20. Let's see, Chaitanya, we'll discuss that when we reach there. Not necessarily, Bhumika, I will let you know what are the NCERT topics you need to cover. Okay, you should not cover everything line by line from NCERTs. That doesn't work for science and tech because it is mostly recent news based tech. Okay, chalo, have a good day. So I am from IIT Gandhinagar. So I am a BTech mechanical engineer from IIT Gandhinagar. Okay. Done. Chalo, have a good day. So whatever the remaining day you have, we'll meet tomorrow at the same time on 7:15. Okay, thank you, bye bye, take care. Bye. Yes, Praniti, not everything in that book. That book is quite thick. You don't have to cover that book page from page 1 to page n. I'll let you know what are the important parts you can cover from that book. Good night. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.